Hello, everyone. Tonight, I want to tell you a story. One that starts on an empty train platform and ends in a way no one could have predicted. The last train of the night was running late. The platform was nearly deserted, except for me and him. A man in a wrinkled suit sat at the far end of the bench, clutching a worn leather briefcase. He looked out of place, not just because of his outdated clothes, but because of the way he sat, perfectly still, staring at the old station clock like it held the answer to some unspoken question. At first, I didn't pay much attention, just another tired commuter, right? But as the minutes stretched into an hour, I began to notice things. Every few moments he would check his phone, then sigh and put it back in his pocket without doing anything. No dialing, no texting, just staring at the screen like he was waiting for something or someone. The wind howled through the empty station, rattling the rusted metal signs above us. The train's arrival time flickered on the screen, delayed again. I pulled my coat tighter and shifted in my seat. Maybe it was the late hour, or maybe it was the way he seemed lost even while sitting perfectly still. But something made me ask, "You okay, sir?" His eyes flickered toward me like he had forgotten I was there. He gave a small, tired smile. "You ever regret something so much it keeps you up at night?" His voice was hoarse, like someone who had spent years talking but never being heard. I wasn't sure if he was talking to me or just thinking out loud. "Yeah," I found myself saying. "Happens to everyone, I guess." He chuckled, but there was no humor in it. More like the sound of someone who had carried the weight of a secret for too long. "Not like this," he murmured. And then he told me. 30 years ago, he had a fight. A bad one. He and his wife had been arguing about something stupid. Something neither of them would even remember the next morning. But in that moment, anger clouded everything. "I said things I shouldn't have," he admitted, staring at his hands. "And she said things she didn't mean, but I was too proud to let it go." So he walked out, slammed the door. He told himself he just needed to cool off, that he'd go for a walk, maybe grab a drink and then come back once they both had time to breathe. Only he never got the chance. That night, his wife was in a car accident. He never got to say sorry, never got to take back his words, never got to hold her one last time. Since then, he had spent every year returning to this platform, because this was where they used to meet after work. Every evening, she'd wait right here, he said, glancing at the empty spot near the ticket machine. Rain or shine, she'd be there, smiling like nothing else in the world mattered. But now, all he had was this empty station. I keep thinking. He swallowed hard. Maybe one day I'll see her again. Maybe I'll wake up, and it'll be 30 years ago, and I'll do it all differently. I didn't know what to say. What do you say to someone who has spent 3 decades drowning in regret? The silence between us stretched on, heavy and unbreakable. The train's headlights finally appeared in the distance, cutting through the fog. The automated announcement crackled over the speakers. "Final train to Union Station arriving in 1 minute." But he didn't move. He just sat there, gripping his briefcase, lost in a past he couldn't change. That's when I spoke. What if I told you that train isn't going to take you back? For the first time, he looked me in the eyes. Really looked. And I saw it. Years of guilt, grief, and something else. Something that looked a little like hope. "Maybe it won't," he admitted. "But maybe it'll take me somewhere I need to go." The train doors slid open with a metallic hiss. He hesitated. For the first time in 30 years, he was faced with a choice. He could stay here, trapped in memories of what could have been, or he could step onto that train and move forward. He took a deep breath, and then, slowly, almost hesitantly, he stood up. Just before he stepped onto the train, he turned back to me. "You think she'd forgive me?" he asked. I didn't know his wife, didn't know the details of their last conversation. But I did know one thing. I think she'd want you to forgive yourself. The doors closed behind him, and just like that he was gone. I never saw him again. But sometimes, late at night, I wonder where that train took him. Maybe he went back to an empty apartment, poured himself a glass of whiskey, and stared at an old photograph. Or maybe, just maybe, he finally stopped waiting at a station that would never bring her back. Maybe he got off at a different stop, took a deep breath, and decided to keep going. Because some stories don't have perfect endings, but maybe, just maybe, they have new beginnings. Regret is a heavy thing to carry, but no matter how long you've been standing in the past, the train to the future is still waiting. The only question is, will you get on?